Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Mac, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a full demonstration of Divi. I'll be showing you step by step everything that you need to know about Divi before you actually buy it, or if you already bought Divi, this is a good video because it gives you an overview of what Divi is capable of. So before we proceed, I would like to show you some of the layouts that Divi can produce. These are professional and I'm sure you will agree with me. So if you take a look here, this is the services page which I just uploaded, and you can see here that this looks so beautiful. The layout, we have animations, we also have what is known as parallax. And here we can also see that the way the page is laid out looks really professional. And all this was achieved in Divi. No plugins, nothing added. Okay, now here's another page, and we can see here as well that it has a lot of parallax at the top, and as you scroll down here we can see that the layout also looks beautiful. Okay, I have two more pages to show you, so let me just show you this one quickly. This one is, say you want to show your work, maybe you're a branding company, so this is the type of layout that you could use, and again this looks very professional. Finally, this is a page that is found on pretty much all websites. This is a contact page, and here's an example of how this page can be laid out. And as you can see, again, this looks really brilliant. Now, what I haven't told you is these pages come free within Divi. So I have a lot to talk about, and I've also got a lot to cover. Now, if you stay with me until the end of the video, I have a fantastic offer that I'll be giving away at the end of the video. So make sure you watch this video until the end. Okay, so now that we've covered pretty much what Divi can do, let me tell you a bit about myself. Now, my name is Augustine Makachemu. I've been using Divi for over 8 years. I'm one of the first people that created a Divi course on Udemy, and I ended up also being part of the content team at Elegant Themes. But it doesn't mean that my review and what I think about Divi is going to change because I'm part of the Elegant Themes team. No, it doesn't change. I think it's fantastic. I also use Divi in my own project. So that's how confident I am in Divi. Okay, so let's dive in and let me show you your way around Divi and how it works. Okay, so right now I'm in my WordPress admin dashboard. So the first thing I want to do is to start off by adding a brand new page. So I'm going to come over here to pages and then click on add new. So we're going to give this page a name. So let's just call this test 2. Click on use the Divi Builder. Now to start using Divi, you do need to go into the Visual Builder. I wouldn't worry too much about the backend builder because everything is now moving on to the Visual Builder. So let's go ahead and click on use Visual Builder. So if I click this, okay, so when you first open up the Visual Builder, it can be very confusing and shocking, by the way, because it's not clear how to get started. But you know what? There is really powerful settings behind this curtain. So let's go ahead and do that. So before we go into that, let me just try and cover as much as I can all these icons and what they mean. So first of all, let's start off with the plus button. So every time you see the plus button, it means you can add something onto the page. And if you leave your mouse pointer here for a while, you can notice that it also tells you what you are actually adding. If I come over here as well, if I leave it for a few seconds, it also says add row. And then if I come over here, it also tells me that it's time to choose a column structure. Now, so that's what the plus button does. Over here, the first icon here on the left, this is the move icon. So you can drag things around. Now, right now, with what I have on the screen, I don't have an example to show you, but I will be showing you how to move it. Right, the next is the gear icon. Every time you see the gear icon, it means that you're going into the settings of that particular item. So for example here, I've left the mouse pointer for a few seconds, and it's also saying section settings. So if I click on that, now we go into the settings of that particular item. And in this case, this is the section. Okay, so I'm just going to close this for now and let's move on. So as I mouse over here as well, you start seeing things appearing. So the next one here is this little icon. Now this one is the clone icon or the duplicate icon. Every time you click it, it duplicates things. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Now this one here saves things to the library. So let's say you spent quite a lot of time working on a particular design. You're happy with what it looks, but you want to use it over and over again. this is where you use this save to library item. So this is very, very important, especially when you're designing websites that have things that are reusable. For example, let's say you create a button, and that button has to be consistent throughout the whole website. You can actually design it and then save it to the library for future use. Right, let's move on to the next one. And this one right here is for deleting things. So every time you see this, and it also says here, delete section. Okay. Now let's come over here to the rows. So same thing. This goes into the row settings, the duplicate, but here we have something different. So every time we see this, it means we can change the column structure. Now what that means is if we click on it, it now gives us a layout options. We can choose 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, and so on. I'm going to close this, and this can only be found on the rows, by the way. And then just like before, we can also save things here to the library in our row, and we can also delete it. So let's go ahead and delete this row just like that. Okay, excellent. So on the top here, we still have this section, so we can go ahead and delete. Now let's define what a section is, what a row is, and what is a module, because this is really the backbone of Divi. So what a section is, which is this blue bounding box right here, is what divides your page. Okay. So let's say your top section could have, let's say your hero image. Your next section could have maybe your about content. Your third section could have maybe a form. So what separates those three is the section. Okay. So moving on, the rows is what really puts together the content that you are designing. Okay, so this is why we have the column structure here. So let me just give you a quick example. So if I click here on this button here, the column structure button, or clicking this plus button here, like that, it has the same thing. So we choose what we want to have in these columns. So here I'm going to choose 3 columns. So you can see straight away, as soon as I've added 3 columns, now I can click the plus button. Remember, every time you click the plus button, it's about adding something. So now this is where we get to insert our modules. So we have quite a lot of modules here. We have the audio module, blog, button, blurb, and so on. So in this example here, we want to add a blurb. Okay. And by default, each and every module gives you placeholder content. Now, the good thing about this is it gives you an idea of how much space that content is going to cover, and it also gives an idea of how easily you can go in and make those adjustments and make it look like your setup. Okay, so now that we have this, we might as well go in and start talking about the settings. So every time you add a module, it comes with the settings. So before we go into that, again here, let's go through these settings and let me show you and let me explain what they are. So here the first tab is the content. So this is where you need to add all the content that you need. And then the next tab is the design tab. So this is where you make it, I call it beautifying the content. Okay. So this is where you go in, you change the sizes, you change the height between things, you add the rounded corners, you add the animations and so on. So this tab is very, very important. And this is where you're going to spend most of your time in. Now, the advanced tab, so this is for more of the developers out there. This is where you can add your CSS ID, CSS classes. You can add your custom CSS. And we also have visibility. So let's say you want to design something which is visible only on mobile devices or on desktops. This is where you would come. Okay. Now, over here to the bottom, we also have these 4 buttons. And these 4 buttons are very, very important. So let's say I've made all my changes here, but I don't want to save it. I've changed my mind. All you have to do is to click the very first one here, which has the X. So this will just close and won't save anything. Now, this one right here is the undo, and this one is the redo. And then finally, this is the save. Okay, so every time you click on this one here, it saves what is on the page and what you've been designing, which is great. Now, let's go back in and let me show you further where all these settings are and what you can do with these different types of modules. Okay, so back over here, remember, you have to click the gear icon in order for you to make any changes or any settings. So over here, I'm mousing over this area. I can go here into my module by clicking that. So now most of my information is going to be customized in the design. But here, as I mentioned, is where you want to add all your content. So if I start changing things here like that, you can see it, changing over here in real time, which is fantastic. So I can add my full stop over here. And then let's say you want to add a link to this. You can also add your link here. Now this one here is the image and icon. So let's say you want to add a specific image here. This is where you'd come and add your image by clicking here in this area. And then you can choose the image that you want to use. So let's say I want to use this image right here. I can just click on it and then click upload an image. And now it has been updated. Just like that. It's as easy as that. So let's say you want this area to have an icon. Well, you have two options with this module. It's called the blurb, by the way. You can activate use icon and straight away things change. Now you have this panel that shows the icons. So you can scroll through these and then choose the icon that you want to use. So let's say I want to go with this calendar icon. I can come in here and now we can see it's added. We can also add a background color of this blurb. So if I click this plus button here, if I click here, you can see I've just added my background color, and you can also play around with different colors. And here we also have a color palette, and this could be colors that you could use from your company branding. Okay, so this is how you'd add all these things. So let's say I'm going to go with a dark color like that. So now to make further adjustments to this, you need to go into the design tab. So over here in the design tab, if I click on image and icon, this is the icon or the image. So if I click here, we have more options. We can change the color. So let's say I want to go with white. Now my icon is white. I can choose the icon to be in a circle, just like that. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay. The icon placement is also very important. You can leave it in the top. We also have an option to have it to the left. Okay. So I'm just going to leave this to the top. Now, let's say this is too big. You want to change the size. You can click use icon font size. And now you can use the slider to change the size. So every time you see the slider, it means you can go in and make adjustments to that particular item, which is great. Now we can go in here into the text and make even further adjustments. So if I come over here to title text, and this is the title that we see over here. So let's make customizations to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it change the color. So I'm going to go with this, for example, and I want to center it. So here on the text alignment, I can center it. So as you can see, this is where you can really go in and make specific changes, specific adjustments to whatever you're designing. So we can also make this all caps. And then over here, this is where it gets exciting now. We have title font. So here we have hundreds of fonts that you can use. And all these fonts are all Google fonts. And as you mouse over it, it's actually giving you a preview of what this font looks like. So there's a lot to choose from. So I'm just going to go with Poppins, for example. And then over here, I can change the text size. So there's two ways of changing your text size. You can either use the slider to make it bigger, or you can just mouse over this area and incrementally add your height that way. You have also letter spacing. So if it's too tight, you can just add your letter spacing just like that. You can also add your line height. Okay. Now there's even more items that you can adjust. And this is the power of Divi. Now just imagine, initially we started off with a page which had pretty much nothing, but now we can go in deep and make further and further adjustments. Now I'm just going to make two more changes here just to make this design looks much better. And then we're going to move on to other things. So I'm going to come over here to my body text. I'm going to change the color of the body text quickly like that. Now it's easier to read. I can increase the size a little bit, or I can reduce the size. Okay. So I'm going to leave it at 14. And then over here, if we come to sizing, okay, I can adjust the content width over here. If you come to spacing, as you can see, all our content is very close to the edge of this module. So if you want to fix that, you can add padding. So look at this. When I mouse over this area here, we get this gear icon. So I can start by just dialing it to the right like that. And the bottom, I can also dial it to the bottom like that. Now, let's say you want to do this to both sides. we have a chain right here in the middle. I can activate the chain, come over here to my dial, and then increase it just like that. So now look how beautiful that looks. It now has spaces on the side and it looks fantastic. Now let's move on to the border. If I come over here to the border straight away, I can also add my rounded borders. So I can just increase them like that. And just like that, I've added rounded corners. So the idea here is so you to see how easy it is. You can go in specifically and make changes to each and every item that you are designing. So this is the power of Divi, and this is why I love using Divi. Okay, so let's say you're happy with all of that. Now you can go ahead and save. Let's move on to the next thing. And all the way down here to the bottom, we have what is known as expand settings. So if you click here, we have even more options. So guess what? Over here, we have this plus button. Okay, we can load things from the library, and I will be talking about the library in a minute. So here as well, you can save this whole page design to the library. So you can actually share this design with other Divi designers, or if you're a freelance designer, you can save all your layouts, and then when you start creating new websites, you can just load all these layouts fast, just like that, and within minutes, you're actually designing your website. Okay? And then we also have here this trash can. This is if you want to delete the page. And then over here, we also have settings. Now, these are settings to this particular page. And then over here, we also have the editing history. So this can show you pretty much where you've done your changes, just in case you want to go back to a specific point and redo everything. Okay, so here we can see with the timestamp, I've been editing the blurb. But if I were editing other things on the page, this will actually show, and you can actually go to that particular time and revert to that. Okay, so I'm going to close this. Now over here, we also have this area right here. Now this is very, very important because this is where we get further settings. So these three little buttons right here on the edge, if I click them, we get the builder settings. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about something very important here. This is where we have our modes. Okay, so these modes by default, Divi works in hover mode. So you can see here as I'm hovering, this is where you get to start seeing things. Now, if you're a beginner, you may want to use the click mode. So every time you click, that is when you start seeing things. So let's activate it and let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to activate all of them really. Close here. Now, let's say if I activate the click mode, now, if I mouse over these areas, you can see the bounding box. And this is what I really like because it gives you an idea of where each module ends. Okay, so you can see this one ends here. And then if I want to add something new, I click the plus button and then I can add something else. So let's say I want to add a call to action right here. So there's my call to action. I'm going to save this. And then if I come over here again, you can see as I'm mousing over these areas, I can see exactly where everything is ending. So let's say I want to come here into my row settings. So this time now, instead of seeing that gear icon, you have to click. This is why it's called the click mode. So I come over here into the area that I need to click. I click on it, and now we start to see all those settings. So here I can go into my row settings, and I can now come into the background, maybe add a background color if I wanted to. Come over here to design. I can even change the size by coming over here to sizing, making this full width if I wanted to. Okay, so I'm just going to close this for now. Now we also have another mode here, which I think is also very important. This is the grid mode. So if we activate this, everything gets shown by default. So this may be something that you prefer using because everything now is shown and it has all the bounding boxes and also the little icons ready for you to click on them. So right now, let's say I need to go into this. If I click on it now, all that stuff disappears because I'm actually in the call to action settings. So let's say I've finished editing all of this. I can always save. And now when I come back over here, now everything is all activated again. So again, this could be something that you really enjoy using. So you have options of what you can use. Now, let's say you want to use the wireframe mode. So the wireframe mode is also very important when it comes to dragging things around. So this is where you click this button here. So if I click this, now we have a different view. So this view here is quite interesting because you can move things faster. Let's say I want to move this down here. You can see quickly I can move things around and I can delete them. But I rarely use this, so I would suggest that you just stay with the Visual Builder unless you really need to go back into this. Over here, we also have this desktop view. Now, if I click on desktop view, it just takes us back to the view that we see as we're designing our website. So that's that. Now, let's move on to the next two views, which I think are very, very important. And this is the tablet view. So this view here is good because it shows you what things look like on the tablet and also on the smartphone. So I've come over here, that's the smartphone. So that's how things look. And as you can see with this basic setup, it really looks brilliant on all three devices. Now you're probably thinking, right, this was a lot to take in. This is too much. What if I don't really want to go through all that process? I'm not sure what I'm going to be designing. Well, there's an answer to that. But before we go into that, I want to talk about something very important. Now, let's say you want to learn really how the builder works. There's a few things that you can do. We have a YouTube channel. I also have Divi University, where I have courses on how to use Divi, which I recommend that you go and check out. We have a fantastic discount at the moment. And we also have step-by-step tutorials for each and every module, right? So if I come over here into the settings, you see this question mark and help. So if I click on that, guess what? We have these three videos, and you can adjust this the way you want. You can drag it, make it bigger without actually leaving this builder. So if we play the video here, so you can see there is Nathan talking about the introduction to sections, and over here, design settings and advanced sections. So these are all videos that are with do with the sections, and every single module has this. So let me close this and show you how that works as well. So let's say I come over here to the blurb, I click on this module settings, and voila, down here we have the help. So if you click on it, now this talks about an introduction to the blurb module. So this is how brilliant Divi is, and this is why I'm really behind Divi. I really love the support system it has and how it makes things easier for you if you're a beginner, you're just getting started with designing websites. Now let's talk about what I referred to before I spoke about these help videos. So let's say you want to build a website fast. No, you don't want to waste time on learning all of this. We have what are known as pre-made layouts. So these are layout packs which have pages which are created, ready for you to go in and make changes to. Let me show you where they are. So I want to start off this on a clean slate. So I'm going to click the plus button here and add a new page. So I don't want to save this, so I can just say discard and exit. So I'm going to call this page pre-made like that. Click on use the Divi Builder, use Visual Builder. Right. So again, we take a look at this. It looks blank. It looks very scary, but all you got to do is to come all the way to the bottom here, click on expand settings. And what you want to do here is to click this plus button. Now this has loaded all the layouts from our layout library. Okay. So check this out. We have several categories here. We have the art. So now this has just trimmed this down to the art. We can go into business, and these are all the layouts for business. We have community and nonprofit. We also have education. We have events. So as you can see, there's a lot of layout packs that you can choose from. So these are fully designed layouts. They have images that you can use in your commercial designs or your personal designs. The licensing is free, absolutely free. Okay, so this is a very, very good starting point. So let's say you want to design a website around the fashion industry, right? So you come over here to fashion, and then you can come here. Let's say, let's choose this fashion layout pack. So I'm going to select it. Now, these are the pages that come with the layout pack. And this is fantastic because this gives you an idea of how your about page is going to look like, your blog, your contact, and so on. And initially, when I showed you those pages, I kind of like cheated because I just used pages from the layout packs. Okay, so to load the page is very easy. All you got to do is to click on use this layout. You wait a few moments and everything gets downloaded from the Elegant Themes servers down to your page. And even better than that, every week there's 2 layout packs that are released and they're added to the library. And this comes with your Divi membership. So you can imagine, by the end of the year, you're going to have quite a lot of layouts to choose from. So let's take a look here. So as you can see, it has loaded all the information in here for me. So all I have to do now is to go in and make changes to this. So let's say there are sections that I don't need. So let's say this join newsletter, let's say I don't need this. I can always come here, use my mouse, hover over this area. But then again, remember, I said if you're new and you find this confusing and you don't see where you are, come to the bottom here and activate the grid mode. Now you can see everything is all shown. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming by having all this here, but it just shows you where everything is, and you can just disable it by clicking this button right here. Okay, so now let's get rid of things that we don't need. So let's say I don't need this section right here, delete. Okay, now it's gone. So let's see what else we don't need. So I'm going to come over here to the top. So let's say this text we have right here, I don't need that. I can just click on delete and delete that. Okay, great. Let's move on. And over here to the top, I think I'll leave everything as it is. Right, so let's say you have all the elements that you need on the page. Now it's time for you to make your own customizations and make this page yours. And this is how you do it. So you start off with the section here. You click the gear icon to get into the section settings. Click on background. Now let's change the color. So I'm going to come over here, choose a different color. So right away you can see here that my color has changed. And I've started now making this design my own design. And this is the greatness of Divi. So if I come over here, I can also change the color like that. I can also change the direction. Just look at that, fast, easy. I've changed the direction. If I come into here into the design, I can also do further items. Okay, so let's say I'm happy with that. I can always come over here, click on save changes. And now I've already changed the top. And that looks like my own design now. And let's say I want to make some changes here. Okay. So let's call this Mac Fashion. Okay. Already, just like that, I've now changed the copy of the page. And I can also come in here, click this gear icon, and I can start changing all this information that we have right here. And as I start adding it, you can see here, it's all updating. So I can very easily start adding things to this page and customize it and make it appear like this is my own design. So if you're a freelance designer or you want to design your own websites, I recommend that this is the best way to start designing your websites if you are a beginner and you're starting with web design, because you notice that I spend quite a bit of time trying to explain and go through the whole process of adding those individual things one by one. But this is a very easy way of getting started. So this is why pre-made layouts are great. Okay, so I'm just gonna close this for now. So once you're happy with this page, you can always click on publish. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. And this time we're going to talk about animations. Okay, so let's say we want to animate this text as it comes in. So all you gotta do is to come over here to this gear icon, module settings, design. And if we come all the way down here, we'll notice that we have this animation tab and we can animate this in several ways. We can flip, we can zoom in. So let's say I click on zoom, you can see now it's coming through. And this is where we can change these parameters. And as I'm changing it, you can see how the delay and the intensity and the starting opacity. So let's say it starts off off, and then and then the color comes on. That's how you make those changes. You can also change the direction, so you can do it from the right like that. And you can also set it to loop. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but the option is there. You can set it to loop. So as you can see, there are so many ways that you can play around with this animation. There's also filters that you can play with, the borders, the spacing, the sizing, the heading text, and the font management. So there's a lot that you can do in Divi. In fact, this is a complete solution to designing professional looking websites. Okay, so I promised you in the beginning of the video that if you stay with me until the end of the video, I am going to give you a surprise giveaway. Right, so the giveaway is if you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I will give you access to my Divi Blueprint course absolutely free. So let me show you where that is. So if I come over here to Divi University, we have several courses here. So far, I have 3 courses. I have the WordPress Mastery course, the Divi Blueprint course, and also the Photoshop for Web Designers course. So if you purchase this one right here, the yearly access, I will give you access to Divi Blueprint 3. Now, this course pretty much covers in detail how to use Divi, and also this course is going to be updated every now and again to keep up with the Divi updates. So just to give you an idea of what this covers, if we take a look here on the bottom, we actually designed a 5-page website from scratch. And over here, you learn quite a lot of things. You learn how to install and set up Divi 3.0. We also go through how the Divi Builder works, introduction to the Visual Builder. We go through the exploration of that. And also, I go through the Divi Builder versus the Visual Builder. We also go through Divi's global settings, customizing the Divi menu, and so on. So as you can see, I cover quite a lot. Okay, now what's even better is if you go ahead and sign up for the lifetime access, I will also give you access to the lifetime of the Divi University access. So that means all the courses and all the future courses that are going to come on Divi University, you will get all those courses. But initially, you are going to get all these 3 absolutely free access to all of that. So you're going to have the WordPress Mastery, the Blueprint 3, Photoshop for Web Designer. Now, Photoshop for Web Designers is very important because when you're designing custom websites, you do need to know how to optimize your images and make them look professional. So this is what this course covers all of that. So this is what you get. Now, here's the thing. Are you going to lose anything by using my affiliate link? Absolutely not. In fact, you are gaining. So if you want to buy Divi anyway, and you go ahead and you use my affiliate link, you will still get Divi, but the plus side is you are going to be getting my courses for free, and I'll be also getting a little bit of money from Elegant Themes. So that's how it works. You win, I win. So that's what this is all about. So I do hope that you consider using my affiliate link. As soon as you've purchased Divi, just drop me an email to let me know which package you've bought, and I will give you access to the training. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and also do subscribe to my YouTube channel. By doing so, you'll be notified every time I release new videos, and make sure you click the bell notification, because by doing that, you'll be notified every time I release new videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.